Widen it. Your work saved the lives of thousands. What if I told you that reality is one of many?
So this movie was crying out to have a Doctor Who joke in there somewhere, but unless I missed it, it sadly didn't. We are, of course, talking about Doctor Strange, starring Benedict Cumberbatch, Chiwetel Ejiofor, Tilda Swinton, Rachel McAdams and Mads Mikkelsen, directed by Scott Derrickson, who is most known for horror movies. So this is kind of Marvel's foray into the horror universe. It has come out around Halloween. Sadly, I would say no. Not really a horror film, but certainly a trippy film. So the story here, I'm going to be very vague with this, focuses on Stephen Strange, who is a fantastic but very arrogant surgeon who is involved in an accident and damages himself and tries to find the cure for his ailments across all over the globe. He kind of lumps in with this kind of group of sorcerers who teach him the mystic arts, and obviously there is a threat. It's pretty much all I'll say on the plot here. We'll go into what I liked and didn't like about Doctor Strange. I'm going to try and get this one relatively brief. Acting, first of all, fantastic. Cumberbatch, I think, was fantastic. Really kind of sold you on this this character. And I've got to say, he's a real asshole in the beginning of this film. I mean, he's been compared to Tony Stark, but I would say Tony Stark is less of an asshole than this guy, basically. He really is quite unlikable at the beginning of the movie, but you do kind of come around to him. And that's obviously based on Benedict's performance, basically. So fantastic. But across the board, I don't think there was any really kind of weak link in the acting at all here. The effects, I would say, I have some issues with the effects. I'll come on to it again. But there are some fantastic sequences that are very kind of trippy and kind of remind you of the early days of Marvel Comics, when obviously they were taking certain substances there. Obviously very reminiscent of the early art of Steve Ditko and company. The actual story has been criticised as somewhat formulaic. I have to say that's true, but they do some kind of things that don't go typically the way I would say you would see most of these films go. The way the ultimate threat is defeated is somewhat unique, I would say. I do have some problems with it, come on to it, but nevertheless I would say it does have somewhat of a formulaic problem, but you know, what are you going to do with this origin superhero movie? The comedy is also quite fun. I think there are some quite good jokes here. I'm going to kind of touch on some of the negatives. I mentioned the comedy, so I'll kind of stay with that. It is obvious at times that some of these jokes have been added in later. Obviously this movie, like most movies, have reshoots, but some of these kind of do stick out. They've kind of been added in at later dates, especially ones in the kind of the original kind of, I forgot what they call it now, the mystical kind of temple place where Wong is there and stuff as well. It's very obvious if you ask me. The main issue I have with this film is its time. Now ironically the gem in this one is actually the time stamp, but not the issue I have with it. The problem I have here is the time sort of span of this film where it takes place. Now there's a line in this movie where Doctor Strange says, oh, you know, it's taken me years to study as a doctor. And the ancient one's basically saying, well, that's pretty much what you've got to do here to learn the mystic arts. But I never got the sense of how much time he was at this Kamar-Taj or something, this kind of this basically school of magic, which is kind of bothered me, to be honest, because it seemed like it was a matter of days, maybe weeks, but not a huge amount of time. And I think they could have done a better sort of job of maybe kind of giving them that sense he's been studying there for a long time, because he just seemed to kind of learn these mystic arts with a drop of a hat, to be quite honest with you. So that to me, for what otherwise was fairly intelligent, was a real issue with me. And also it could have been easily tied in, because they kind of mentioned Doctor Strange in the Winter Soldier, so it would have made sense to me if this film had sort of started to take place right at the beginning of the MCU, and all of this time Stephen Strange has been kind of training, and maybe only catches up right at the end, but that doesn't seem to have been the case. So it does have some continuity issues as well. I know that they've said, oh well, Stephen Strange was a bigger threat, you know, on his own before he became Doctor Strange. Bullshit, that doesn't make sense. Come on. Why would I just say some random Doctor ridiculous thing. Out of everyone else, all the threats, they would mention Stephen Strange. They could have done a better job here of really setting up the kind of the timescale here and basically made it obvious and made it feel like he had been studying for a long time and mastered his arts. He is meant to be the Sorcerer Supreme. That was my major issue. The other issue I have is that the climax of this, although it does have some clever elements to it and some original ways of kind of triumphing, it really does seem like a bit of a CGI mess to me. Very reminiscent of the Galactus from Rise of the Silver Surfer and the Green Lantern. I thought, why have they done this? Why have we gone for a kind of a over-bloated CGI finale, basically? I won't say what it entails, but that bothered me. Overall, this is an enjoyable film. I don't think there's any bad Marvel films as such, but I know this one has gotten really high scores, but for me, I actually put it about kind of around average, to be quite honest with you. For me, it's around a 6.5. That's not a bad score. Let me just say that if it wasn't Rotten Tomatoes, that would be fresh. But I didn't think it was anything fantastic, to be quite honest with you. Anyway, that is my review of Doctor Strange. Have you seen it? What did you think of it? Leave me a comment, and I'll look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.